That's what controls the radio station. I got in this morning and that would not work at all. Then as I just tried to join you live on the air there, wouldn't seem to go into the mode I needed to be in, which is live assist. That essentially means the computer and I will do this together. The computer will run. I will tell it when, hey, stop running. I want to do things right now. And then that's giving me control. That's essentially what the computer calls live assist. But we had trouble getting it into that mode this morning. So I would just assume, having worked here a decade and having worked in radio longer than that we will run across at least one or two more of these issues throughout the program today. We shall breathe in, we shall breathe out, we shall not lose our minds about it. We actually did get some pretty good help from the IT department. Sorry to wake those guys up at 4:45 this morning. They were not necessarily thrilled about that, not waking them up. There's people who are on call, obviously, as iHeartMedia is a 24/7 business. And you can take advantage of that 24/7 business by downloading the free iHeartRadio app, right? So if I can't get on the air, you can find somebody to listen to. We do have tickets for the National today. We'll get those passed out. I haven't not yet decided when. I was too busy putting fires out, but we'll figure it out, and we'll get those National tickets passed out. That show's in September out at Blossom. I believe the War on Drugs is part of that show as well, so we'll get those passed out to you today. It's also Tuesday, so coming up at 9 a.m., we will give you New Turd Tuesday. I got new stuff from Pharrell featuring Miley Cyrus. This is Doctor Work It Out, apparently. Different sides of the plate there in the vocals, and I think sometimes she gets a little too easily dismissed for her abilities because of her family being so nuts, and let's be honest, some of it she brought on herself with the drug abuse and being out in public, always being weird and like doing some of that stuff. I think people dismiss some of her abilities too easily because of some of that. We also have new stuff from I believe this is Cassie Ashton. The song's called Crazy. That's the name of it, Called Crazy. And she's talking about how men just will routinely call a woman crazy and yet come right back around and ask for a second helping of the crazy. And when I heard it yesterday, I was like, well, she's right. I've done Drew, man, like it's kind of Drew. Every time I've been like, dude, that chick is crazy. I normally find myself like, but I kind of like her, man. Like men do kind of do this. And I think Aziz Ansari talked about this in Parks and Rec once. He was like, that's how easy it is for a breakup for a guy. Like you just throw your hands up in the air and be like, she's crazy, dude. And like everybody just kind of goes, yeah, all right. It's kind of the way that works. He wasn't wrong there. And I don't think Cassie Ashton is all that wrong there either. Called Crazy. We'll take a listen to the rest of that for New Turd Tuesday. I have New Ministry. New Religion, the name of this. You know, for the people that don't want politics and everything, I mean, that's literally all ministry ever was. Like, what do you think New World Order was about? I guess industrial. Hatred Paradise, the name of the song. Local band Accused the Villain. We'll give you the rest of that for New Tour Tuesday as well, and I kind of can't wait, man, because that one sounds like it might be pretty damn good. We'll also take a look at Flacco to the Patriots today. Oh, my Lord. And apparently, somebody thinks it's a good idea for your children to be licking toes in class. We'll touch on that at 8 o'clock this morning as well on The Stansbury Show.
He's a bad influence. But nobody is stupid enough to take him seriously. The Stansbury Show. Rock 1069.
Show on Rock 1069. We'll get you into the National. That show's out at Blossom. You know, money comes up on the program a lot, and I know I've got a pretty hardened view on it, that money's what matters most in life, and I know people really don't like that when a childless person tells you money's what matters, and I get it, right? And I've always said, you're right at your kitchen table that love and family values and all that stuff matters way more. But when you walk out that front door, I all of a sudden become right. Because society doesn't give a damn about your family. They don't. Everybody will lie to you and tell you that they do, but nobody cares about any goddamn thing. Yes, we do. No, you don't. Because if people cared about stuff wouldn't be a mess. The problems this country had when I was in kindergarten, surprise, are still the problems this country has. You know why? Because nobody gives a damn about anything. I know, it sounds nice when we say we do on socials, because I have my red heart. I don't want to be this kind of person. I want to be a good one. But we're not, right? Like, we're not. So money kind of comes up a lot on the program. And I have noticed this new thing happening, where everybody now seems to want to get in on the, I'm going through the poor person struggle. Right? I don't make as much money as I should. Nor do you, I would imagine. I'm not going through the poor person struggle. And you see a lot of people kind of go into this socials, the kind of, influence now, and like everybody wants to tell you how, oh no, we understand what you're going through. I bring it up because there's a couple here who's now gone viral. They did like one of those podcasts, I'll teach you how to be a millionaire. And like this couple showed up there. It's like, all right, teach us how to be millionaires. Because they should be, is their view. Sandra, 46, and Brad, 48, have been married now 25 years. They say that their disagreements over money have put a strain on their relationship to the point to where they're actually thinking about a divorce. Now, they have a net worth of $1.3 million, right? So they're having different money arguments in their home than you're having in yours, I would imagine. Some of you have a net worth of over $1 million. Plenty of you have a net worth of over $1 million. See, again, people hear the word millionaire and you think like LeBron, right? Or you think like athlete or actor, and it's like, no, dude, that's a multi-millionaire. There are tons of millionaires, like 1.2s and 1.4s and like all that stuff. Those people are literally everywhere. They're everywhere. As a matter of fact, wait till you find out how many teachers retire as millionaires. Like it's a lot. It's not all of them, but it's a lot, right? There are more people with $1 million net worth than I think the average person may understand. But they have about 1.3 million in net worth. They've been married 25 years, and they went on to the pod, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. They were talking about how their 4 children make it hard for them to save the kind of money they need. Well, yes, I don't care what kind of money you make. 4 kids is going to be a lot. Like it is. It's going to be a lot, right? This couple now makes $70,000 a month. A month. They're making $70,000 a month. So I looked this up. And if this is wrong, we can blame Google and we can talk about how, the CEOs are, trying to change the information out there in the world or whatever. But I Googled average US salary. Okay. So according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor, the average U.S. annual salary in quarter 4 of 2023 was $59,384. They're making more than the average American makes all year in a month, and they're out here crying broke. They're saying, oh, we feel like we're going through this. Again, Brad bringing home about $70,000 a month. He's in the mortgage industry. On paper, we're not broke, but it feels like we are. Brad's income fell from the annual wage of $800,000 apparently, but they kept the spending on pace. Okay, well, you're not broke then. Like you're not. Like if you can watch your salary get whacked and you don't change your spending habits, you're not broke. Broke people, first of all, dude, their spending habits is the only thing they think about. Because can I afford this? Can I put gas in the car today? Can I buy this new shirt? It comes into everything. If you're just swiping the card, you're not going through the same kind of struggle that broke people are. Like you're not. Like people yell at me about this all the time. Like, oh, you think you know about it? You make, and it's like, people assume it's like, you have no idea what I make, right? I ask people all the time, what do you think I make? And when people tell me how much they think it is, I'm like, no wonder everybody hates me. If you think I'm making this kind of money and I have the kind of views I have, no wonder you hate me, right? It's like, but then I'll ask somebody else and they'll think it's like $15,000 a year. It's like, bro, I wouldn't roll out of bed for that, And so it's like somewhere in the middle of those two things, closer to the other one, right? But like if you're not thinking about the purchases or you're not changing your spending habits at all, you're not going through the same thing other people are going through. Apparently what he did is he put some of their that has so far been paying out about $20,000 a month. It's risky, she claimed, the wife did, but, says he himself calls himself an entrepreneur in his guts. Now, he may be. Entrepreneur has been a word that's been, just so widely applied to everybody who has a YouTube channel now, where it's like, well, are you really an entrepreneur? Like, I don't know about that. We were talking about business owners yesterday a little bit on the program. It's like, I tell people all the time, like, dude, if you think a 9 to 5 sucks, wait till you hear about 24/7s. Because that's what being a business owner is. There's no thank God it's Friday. There's no I don't work on Sundays. There's no none of this. Your business might not be open, but you're open. And if you're a smart business owner, it's the only thing you're thinking about 7 days a week. Because that's almost what it requires. Yes, you probably tuck your kids in at night. Okay, all right. Yes, if we're going to go crazy here. Okay, fine. But people who can't hack, they got a business loan. And then wait till you hear what the government gets to tell you about how you're going to run your business. You want to talk about fair? Oh my God, you want to talk about fair? Open a small business and wait till you find out what the government that you love so much, wait till you find out what they will and will not let you do with your own money and your own operation. You don't decide all of that. Government gets in there, baby. Nah, we get to decide this. You want to close for a week? Nah, run it by us first. We'll give you the okay. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Like, that's kind of the reality there. So everybody sees business owner, they think loaded. And this guy thinks because, his mortgage his salary got whacked a little bit over the last, probably 18 months or whatever, that they're broke. This couple spent $25,000 on a bedroom set for their children. I'm aggravated about it because I keep saying, I think the end of social media is kind of coming, or at least a massive change in it. And everybody running to take part in every issue of every single day is why I think it. Because if they become the face, if somebody who's making $70,000, not a year, a month, $70,000 a month, if they become the face of poor people's struggle in this country, we are definitely, at that point, totally lost in the sauce.
You thought Stansbury was a mess on air? Check out the show's Facebook page at Stansbury Show. Rock 1069.
Welcome back to the Stansbury Show, 9 a.m. New Tour Tuesday. That's got new ministry on that. Also, local artist accused the villain. An interesting name, right? Isn't that who we should accuse, is the villain, right? That's who should be under the accusations, I feel like. Hatred Paradise, the name of that song, will get you that. Also some new stuff from Cassie Ashton as well. All right, I have long seen the debate in this country about sending your kids to somebody else's house for a sleep. When I think about the fact that I was victimized by a neighbor at a very early age in my life, I'm surprised my parents ever allowed that at all once I started to get a little bit, if I'm honest. I think a lot of parents end up giving in and letting their kids go to sleepovers because they don't want their kid to be the weird one in class who doesn't participate in things or isn't invited to other things. But I'm willing to bet a lot of you feel like, I don't want my kids sleeping anywhere but my house. You let me know by texting in at 330-450-7625. I'm reachable on all of the social medias too. The Stansbury Show is how you find me there. I mention it because a dad now is going to go to jail for a long time, and he should. This out of Oregon, Lake Oswego. Lake Oswego is, for frame of reference, is like the suburb right outside of Portland. When Kevin Love lived in Portland, he lived in Lake Oswego. He's from Oregon. When he started to get a little bit of money, that's where he lived, was Lake Oswego, right? So 57-year-old Michael Maiden has now been charged because of what happened at a sleepover at his house. I thought this was going to be a lot about, well, they left a liquor cabinet open, or maybe this was one of those dads who's like, I'm a cool dad, I let people drink and do drugs in my house, but that's not what happened here at all. Listen to this. On Saturday, this back in August, Lake Oswego police in Oregon were notified that 3 different 12-year-old girls were being treated at Randall Children's Hospital after reporting they had been exposed to an unknown prescription drug while at that sleepover at Maiden's home. Detectives investigated the incident and determined that 57-year-old Michael Maiden, who was the host of the sleepover, was responsible for drugs detected in the girls' bloodstreams. Apparently, he had turned himself in last week before pleading not guilty during an arraignment and posting $50,000 bail. His lawyer, which, that's probably not high enough bail for me. Let's get that racked up there a little bit for me. His lawyer, who had not yet seen the evidence against his client, said, "We hope that people will reserve judgment until all the facts and circumstances are known." That's what a defense attorney is supposed to say. So according to the probable cause affidavit, Maiden's daughter had 3 of her friends over for a spa night and sleepover in the basement. Now, these girls are about 12, right? So, people are going to eye roll spa night, but welcome to kids that, trying to act, a few years older than they are. I think it's mostly fine, whatever. So they had a spa night and a sleepover in the basement. So apparently what he's been accused of now, though, is giving all 4 girls mango smoothies and providing them with specific colored reusable straws to distinguish their own drink. All right, here, you guys are all getting the same thing. Darla, you have the pink straw. Monica, you have the green one, right? You kind of know how it goes. As of right there, I don't see anything out of all that out of the ordinary. Whose drink is it? All right, I'll make it easy for you guys to decide. I think if you're a decent parent, good parent, you think to yourself, okay, yeah, I would have done that. Right? I'm just thinking ahead. If you're a parent who's up to something, you're also thinking like, oh, what a good way for me to make sure my daughter's not affected. So apparently, he was allegedly adamant that the girls drink out of their own cups and insisted that they did drink them. With one girl saying the smoothies had tiny white chunks throughout and then sprinkled on top as well. One of the kids reported feeling woozy, hot, and clumsy after the smoothie, saying she went into a thick, deep sleep. Another girl, however, didn't like the smoothie, barely drank any, then told police Maiden came downstairs more than once during the night and tried to separate two of the girls from each other as they slept. Oh, God. Like, this is just getting worse and worse. She claimed that she could feel him watching her by his presence as she kept her eyes shut. And if you're pretending to sleep, and we've all done it, right? Honey, did you take this out? I'm like, I'm pretending I'm sleeping right now, right? Like, everybody's kind of done that. You can kind of tell when somebody's in the room. You can feel somebody lurking over you. For sure you could. I have no problem believing that at all. So the one girl barely drank any of it. She claimed she could feel him watching her by his presence as she kept her eyes shut under his nose as to see if she was soundly asleep. Before then, he waved his hand in front of her face. I don't know about the what to make sure she was breathing. I don't know about that. I'm not looking to creep on a 12-year-old girl, so I have no idea what the hell that would be about. When he left the room, the girls began frantically texting her mother. Please pick me up. I had a family emergency. I don't feel safe, she allegedly messaged her mom around 1:45 in the morning. Which, how fast did that mom end up getting to the house after that? You get that text message from your daughter at some weirdo's house, 1:45, I don't feel right, come get me? Like, oh my God. I might not respond, but please come get me, crying emoji. Please, please, please pick me up. Please, in all caps. She eventually reached a family friend who picked her up. The girl's mother then notified the parents of the other girls who showed up at Maiden's home around 3 a.m. to get their children. He allegedly told them to come back in the morning, but they insisted on taking their girls home. Come back in the morning? I'm sorry, dude, no. No. I don't care what time of the night it is. I don't care what my excuse is. If I come to your house, I knock on that door, give me my kid, give me my kid. I don't care if they want to leave or not. I'm the adult. You think I'm being mean? You think I'm doing this or whatever? We can have that conversation separately. But when my daughter texts me in the middle of the night and tells me she feels unsafe, once I get to that door and you tell me you're not giving me my kid, guess what, baby? You better hope I don't have that gun on my waist. Because, dude, things are going to get heated at that point. I'm kicking in that door and I'm coming to take my kid. The balls on this, dude. I mean, how many different ways do you want to look guilty, man? If you're trying to look innocent, come on in, come take your daughters, come take them home. But at the end of the day, dude, you know you're guilty, and that's why you don't want to let other people's children go with their own parents. They should bury this dude underneath the damn prison.
Like a wake and bake with an easy bake oven. The Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the Stansberry Show. 9 a.m. I'll give you a New Cheer Tuesday. That's got, well, new Pharrell featuring Miley Cyrus, new Cassie Ashton. Also, new Ministry, local artist accused the villain. We have been talking about a dad who has been accused of drugging 3 girls that came over to his house for a sleepover with his daughter. We didn't get to the entire story, and I apologize. I was up against my clock a little bit. The girls all tested positive for benzodiazepine, which are typically used to treat anxiety or insomnia. I can't even believe I have to tell you that 65% of the country is on some kind of prescription pill every minute of every day. I'm imagining most of you are on some benzos, but they would include Valium, Xanax, Ativan, and Klonopin. Klonopin, sorry. I can tell you I have abused every single one of those drugs. I've abused them all. Absolutely. I have taken cash out of my pocket and have purchased all of those things at shady places. So plenty of them are used for other purposes than what they're being literally passed out like they're Pez candy at your doctor's office for. And we could have that debate anytime you want. I mean, dude, the pill mill thing is absolutely crazy in this country. People just kind of want to stick their head in the sand and deny it. It's all right, that'll rear its ugly head in a few years, then maybe we'll talk about it a touch. But there's a little bit of an issue there. And all 3 girls then, like I said, ended up testing positive for the benzos in their system. Again, one of the girls panicked and then texted their mother in the middle of the night. And she wanted to test to make sure that they, were asleep. Again, this dad was, giving them tests while they were pretending to sleep, finger underneath the nose and kind of checking. He was lurking over them. I don't imagine you drug 3 different 12-year-old girls unless you have the intention of victimizing them sexually. Or at least, well, I was going to say at bare minimum taking photos of them, but I would file that under victimizing a child sexually. Absolutely, I would. I don't see a whole lot of separation there in that. You know, if you look nice in that dress is sexual harassment in the workplace, then lurking over a 12-year-old girl who you've given drugs to is sexual assault. Like, that's just where I'm going to come down on that, you know? And if it were my 12-year-old girl or yours, how are we seeing it then? Now, I'm saying that as if anybody's arguing with me, and I don't believe most of you would be. I really don't. Tell me, I suppose. 330-450-7625, the text message. That's how you do that. There's also the social medias, These Stansbury Show. This stuff is scary. I've talked about it. Having been victimized by a neighbor. That's kind of how we approach stuff, right? Kind of is. And then something happens. You realize, man, this street's no good. This city's no good. This state's no good. This world is no good. It's kind of what we'll do, right? Once you're a victim of something, you're really aware of the fact that it's a problem. You know? It's kind of how that works. But I've realized in my life, by being honest about what happened and talking about it, how many people have been affected. People tell me their story all the time, and I'm appreciative. I can always tell when it's going to happen. You can kind of feel it coming off of somebody. And it's a lot to take. You know, sometimes I'll leave that situation. I'm carrying that now, you know what I mean? But I've asked, I guess, or demanded, damn near, everybody carry my stuff as I just like spit it out all day, right? And so I understand why people see me as a source of comfort for that, and I'm perfectly okay with it. But it is eye-opening. But like guys who have told me, dude, their wife doesn't know, their best friend doesn't know, their parents don't know, nobody knows. You know, I had a guy once tell me he had been victimized by a neighbor like I was. He's been in therapy for 15 years. He's like, he won't do that. He told me before he told the therapist. I was like, well, because I was like, man, it's not right for everybody, and it really does come down to the kind of therapists you have and who's good and who's not. There's good mechanics, there's bad ones. There's good morning hosts and bad ones. And there are plenty of good therapists, and there are, I mean, baby, let me just tell you, dude, that industry has been flooded, and I mean flooded, with the tarot card readers and the life coaches and all of that stuff, and, you know, other areas of your life. You know that. You know the gymnasium for that. Going to see the therapist is the curling and bench pressing. Deceived or the most deceived. And, you know, I just said, bro, you know, you got to get in there. You got to talk about that a little bit. You know what I mean? And open up. And I don't know if he's done that or not. I've lost touch with that person. They have not reached out. All that reason. You know, another part of this story, by the way, Lake Oswego, Oregon is where this happened. One of the nicer, by the way, suburbs of Portland. It just goes to show you, dude, stuff is everywhere. You know, I got into this argument with this guy yesterday. He's like, Canton sucks, man. Quit being complacent and bad. Canton sucks. In the comment section at the repository, right? And doing absolutely nothing to fix it is the definition, is that much worse than some other places. Like, I'm not so sure that's true. I mean, look, Lake Oswego. My buddy lives in Lake Oswego right now. Right now. They spent $895,000, baby, on that house. Just under $1 million. And it's not, I mean, it's just a house. I mean, it's not, well, it's not just a house. It's a little nicer than just a house. But what I'm saying is that's an affluent part of a pretty decent state. I know Portland, right? I know. But that ain't most of the state, although Lake Oswego is close. But the point is, they spent $1 million on their house, damn near, and this is who lives down the street from them. So running around the comment sections talking about how this is a crime-ridden city nobody gives a damn about, it's like, bro, that apparently is something people don't care about. Look how often that kind of stuff is happening. It literally happens on every street in America. That's why certain neighborhoods, by the way, want to keep a strong vetting process involved in who moves into the neighborhood. And I got to be honest with you, when I read stories like this, it makes me want to allow them to do it. Absolutely, dude. Long live the HOA if this is what I got to deal with.
Kind of funny you can listen to him on your smart speaker. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. The Stansbury Show.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
On Rock 1069.
Welcome back to the Stansbury Show on Rock 1069. It's 330-450-7625 to text the studio. We've been talking about this guy in Oregon who is given 3 12-year-old girls benzodiazepines crushed up in a mango smoothie he gave them. Multiple, I think 2 of the 3 girls said they didn't even want to drink it. He kind of like was adamant that they do drink it, and that's red flag number 1. Now, I can't yell at a 12-year-old, right? Like, dude, why didn't you know? Like, come on. Like, let's not victim blame here. But as adults, we know. If somebody's pressuring you, like, okay, like even just screwing around, drink it, man, have some of this, drink some of that, you kind of know. It's like, man, are you bad at the gag thing, right? Because you're tipping the hand too much that you want me to drink this. Now, again, I'm a man in my 40s, not a 12-year-old girl who thinks I'm safe because I'm at my friend's house. You think that there's danger out there, right? That the stranger in the van with the candy and don't answer the door for the weirdo in the trench coat, you know, but we don't really teach our kids